guys, welcome back. So in this video we are going to discuss about what is the difference between hazard and unsafe condition. Many safety professionals or candidates are unable to differentiate between both of the terms. Many often both the terms are considered same, and many professionals say that unsafe conditions and hazards are same. Let's dive into this topic and make an interesting difference between both of them. If we talk about a hazard, by this definition we do understand that hazard is something, it may be a source, situation and act, which has a potential to cause harm. But in this term there is an interesting thing, which is a hazard is in maximum time is an inherent property of something. When I say inherent property, it is a property which is already available or inherently available in something which is potentially or which has a potential to cause harm. Whereas if we talk about the definition of unsafe condition, so unsafe condition talks about any physical state or any physical circumstance which has or may lead to or has a potential to cause harm. But when we try to distinguish in both of terms, the physical state or circumstance or state caused may be due to hazard only. So what we are trying to say is an unsafe condition is caused due to an hazard only or due to by a hazard only. If we take an example of unsafe condition and hazard, that we will be giving you a great example or understanding. Suppose slippery or uneven ground surface is a hazard, whereas if I talk about there is a pothole which is unprotected. So if we talk about there is a pothole which is unprotected and slippery and uneven ground surface is a hazard, but pothole which is unprotected or unguarded or unattended is a condition or is an observation which has led due to a hazard or due to an unsafe act, not by directly or inherent property of that something. So what we can say is a hazard may have led to the unsafe conditions, or unsafe act would have led to this unsafe condition. Now when we talk about a pothole or unprotected pothole, when we say it is an unsafe condition because it is a physical state or physical circumstances which has been observed, but it is not an inherent property of pothole which is unprotected to cause harm. Why I am saying is because this pothole has been created by someone else, maybe due to not following the procedures, not following or maintaining the standards. So this unsafe condition is a deviation of your procedure, your standard or your SOP. That is why we didn't follow that SOP procedure or systems. That's why this pothole has been created, but it has not a inherent property of this pothole, or it was existing by its nature itself. So what we have seen is a slippery or uneven ground is a hazard because it has a potential, and this was the inherent property of this slippery or uneven ground surface. But when we are talking about pothole, it was not created by himself or by the nature. It was created by an unsafe act. It was created by not following the procedures. That's why this condition has come, which we are observing. In many of the cases, unsafe conditions can be physically or tangible in the nature, which you can easily identify by your eyes. But in other case, hazards may not be identified or seen physically in nature or through eyes. Let's take an example of this. Why I am saying this? So if I talk about chemical, the chemical has the inherent property of causing harm due to its nature. So what is the nature of that chemical? It may be toxic, it may be corrosive or irritant. But this property of chemical, which is hazardous in nature, you cannot physically see. If it is toxic, you cannot see it. If it is irritant, you cannot see it, but you can feel it. Whereas if I talk about spillage of chemical, this is an unsafe condition because you can physically see it or it is tangible in nature. So this is the main difference of hazard and unsafe condition, which is to identify a hazard, you need to or you may have to follow certain inspections, or you may have to follow a procedure by which you can identify the hazards. Whereas if you need to see the conditions or unsafe condition, you can physically see it during your walk around, your safety inspections, or physically you can understand them. Whereas to identify a hazard, you need to follow certain procedures, or you need to understand their characteristics, because that is the inherent property of hazard. So likewise, if I talk about a sharp edge is a hazard. Whereas if I talk about a blade is there or a scissor is there, which is having the sharp edge, but it has kept near to your workstation where you are working. So when I say a sharp edge material or scissor or blade is kept near to your workstation, it is unsafe condition. Whereas if I talk about a sharp edge which was a hazard because that was a physical property of scissor or blade, which may lead to or has a potential to cause harm in terms of ill health or personal injury. So by these examples we have learned about the differences between unsafe condition and hazard. Hope this video will be helping out to clear out your doubts. Let's see you in the next video. If you like the video, please do like, subscribe and share with your friends. Thank you so much for watching.